we'll try to see how to use the Scilab editor and the console so that we are familiar with writing the program. Okay. So if you look at your Scilab program, we have a section which is called console window. So in the console window, basically you're going to type your commands that you want to execute. Okay. There is a Sci notes section, so you can define functions and you can write your program in this window on top here. Okay. We also have a variable browser window. So whatever variables you will define, they will appear here in the variable browser window. And then you have a command history window as well. Okay. So this is the typical setup of how the software looks like. All right. And once you execute the program, sometimes you will have graphs that will appear, and you can incorporate them into this split window screen, or you know, you can keep them separate as well. What I've done is I've put the practice.sce file here, which is just a practice file in the Sci Notes editor. So I just moved it around here, and so it gives me this split window option. Okay. So Scilab is a very powerful tool. It is being used everywhere now. It is a free software, open source software that is running, and a lot of people prefer it over MATLAB because you have the flexibility to use it anywhere in any company, in any area of computation. And sometimes the MATLAB has a limited release, and you have to pay for the licensing, so that things are avoided in Scilab. Okay. So it has been a while since Scilab has been developed, around 15-20 years. So the community is very strong. A lot of people have given good suggestions on improvements. It's an open source software, so even a good program or a good library that has been created has been incorporated, and it can do a lot of powerful things. Okay. And when we finish the lecture today, I will mention a few of things that it can do as well. Okay. So just to begin, let's start with using this console window. As you can see, in this window, we can just use Scilab as a basic calculator. Okay. So some of this stuff will be repetitive for the physics students, but they can certainly refresh their memory. Okay. So for example, if I want to define a constant, let's say a is equal to 10, and I can just type that in this console window, and I can just press enter. Okay. And so I can define p is equal to 2, just like in a calculator. Okay. And suppose I want to multiply these two, so I can use the multiplication sign a times b, and if I press enter, I should get the output 20. Okay. And there you go, you get the output right in the console window as well. Okay. Answer is equal to 20. Okay. So at a basic level, it's a calculator. You can just do a divided by b. So 10 divided by 2, you should get the answer 5. Okay. And that's what you are seeing here. Okay. Anytime you run out of space and you want to clear this console window, all you have to do is you have to type CLC. So CLC is clear console. That is the command, and you can clear the console. Okay. Now, if you want to exit from Scilab, you can type quit and press enter, but I won't suggest you do that right now. But the command is just QUIT. Okay. So another thing you can do is, of course, you can do a little bit tougher calculations. Suppose you want to find a square root of a number, so you can just type SQRT. That is for the square root command. Suppose I want to find square root of 24. And you can see the answer is appearing here, 4.898975. Okay, so all basic calculations that a calculator can do, you can do on the console window as well. Okay, you can define complex numbers if you want. Suppose I want to define something as a complex number. Suppose I want to define 4i something, so I have to use the percentage sign. Okay, so that's a predefined function that exists in Scilab. Okay. Now it is giving me error because what I want to do is I want to do 4 multiplied by I, right? So I have to put a multiplication sign and then I can use the percent I. Okay. So that is what it, that's why it shows error. Okay. So remember you have to do 4 multiplied by percent I to write 4I. Okay. So you can define any complex number like this, z equals to 3 plus 4 times, let's say I want to do 4 times, again I have to use the percent command. Okay. And that looks all right. So that is my complex number 3 plus 4I. Okay. And suppose I want to find the real part of a complex number, then I just have to type real times z, and then it should give me the answer 3. And I can do imaginary. I think the imaginary is just IMAG. Let's try that. Yeah, so the imaginary part is 4. Okay, whatever goes in front of I. All right. So similarly, there are other commands that are like built-in functions. Okay, so there are like built-in variables that are present in Scilab. Let's quickly go over all of them. I already told you about the complex one. It is percentage I. Percent pi, let's try that. So to define pi, it is a predefined variable that exists in Scilab. Okay, so you can see the output is 3.14 whatever. Okay, so that is the value of pi. Similarly, you have the command for exponential, which is percentage e. So you have to put a percent sign in front of these things. Okay, so you have pi, you have e, you have I, and of course you have percent infinity as well. And there are other built-in functions that you can use. Suppose you want to do, suppose you want to find sine of value. So let's say sine of, again, I have to say percent pi, sine pi by 4. I want to calculate this, right? So there you go, 0.707, right? So that is the value that I should get. Okay, so I can write sine pi by 2. That should give me 1. Okay. So again, these are predefined functions. You have sine functions, you have cos, tangent, you have one of the things we already did was square root function. So you can do square root of any value. So that is a predefined function as well, sqrt. Um, and there are a lot of built-in functions. So as you start using Scilab, you will be getting familiar with them. Okay. So it's not like you have to remember all of them right now. Right. Another thing is, suppose I find cosine of pi by 2, it should give me 0. Okay, and in Scilab it returns this epsilon value, which is very very close to 0. Okay, so it's like 6.12 times 10 to the minus 17. So practically this value is 0. Okay, so that is the limit to which it can do the calculations. Okay. There are other things you should be familiar if you start using Scilab. What you can do is in Scilab you can use more than one command on the same line. Okay, so let's say I want to type like a variable like p is equal to 3. Okay, and then if I want to write something else in the same line, I just have to put a semicolon. Okay, and I can say q is equal to 5. Okay, and I want to now find p times q. Okay, so answer should be 15. So I can type everything in the same line and execute the code, and so you can just get the answer. Okay, so you don't have to just define everything one by one. So let's say p is equal to 3 and then q is equal to 5. So you can write very quickly in the same line. All you have to do is you have to separate with a colon. Okay, so let me try to write a short program. A is equal to 20, and I want to say b is equal to 10, and I want to say c is equal to a divided by b, and again I have to define this variable. I have to use a semicolon to define it. Okay, so I have written a very short program. I have defined a is equal to 20, b is equal to 10, and c is this, and I'm just going to now hit the execute button. It's this top button right here, save and execute. You can see it's appearing. if I hover my mouse on top of it, okay. So if I execute this, you will see a message appear, right? Executing this code. See this drive, it is executing this file, okay. So if you haven't saved the file, you will have to save the file before executing, okay. So if you're using the file for the first time, you will get an option to save it. You can save it in any directory you want, and then you can execute it, okay. So once you execute this file, you will see in the variable browser these terms should appear, so A, you see, is defined as 20 here, you can see on the top right hand corner, okay. Similarly, B is defined as 10, and now C, you see, is already calculated and the value is 2. Okay, so you can check whether the program is working or not, right? So you can see all these variables are correctly defined in your variable browser, okay. And if you type just C, you should see the value 2, okay. Similarly, you can just do C times C times C, get any calculations. You can just do C raised to 3, that's C cube, 2 cube is 8. So all those things computationally you can do, okay. Once you have defined the variable and you have executed the program, then it gets stored in the variable browser, okay. Of course, like I said, the predefined functions that you're using, like %e, %pi, you cannot override them. They are predefined in Scilab. So whatever the value is given, that will be used, right? All right. Some other little bit of things that you should remember. Scilab is case sensitive. If I type capital A, it is going to give me undefined because I haven't defined anything as capital A. Remember, small a is this value 20. Okay, so our Scilab is case sensitive. Okay, so you have to remember that. Okay, so if I type SQRT as capital letters and I want to calculate something on square root of 10, right? So it won't understand what you're typing. Okay, so whatever commands that I've entered until now, they were all in not in caps. Okay, so they were all in shorthand notation. That's all right. So that's another thing you should remember. It's case sensitive. Okay. Um, Other thing is, if you are using the computer, you can always go back and forth between the commands, like in other softwares as well. You can just type the up arrow and then you can browse through all the commands that you have entered. Okay. So I'm just using my up arrow or down arrow, and you can see the commands that I've entered, they are appearing again, right? Sine %pi by 2, right? So I can execute any command that I've already executed. You can just access them again by using the arrows, okay? Rule for doing calculations is you have to use the BODMAS rule. You have that bracket and division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So that's how the priority is set in the program, right? It will first do division, then multiplication, then addition, and then subtraction. Okay, so when you are writing something in here, so if I write 5 by 2 minus 1, so first it will do the division, 5 by 2, and then it will do the subtraction. Okay, so if you haven't used the brackets, it just uses the well-known BODMAS rule, okay? Division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. The operator is, for addition is plus, for subtraction is minus, for multiplication is the star, and for division is, of course, you have to use the slash. You can have the back division as well. Suppose I do 5 back to minus 1, right? So even that can happen. Okay, so it will divide take the inverse of 5. Okay, so it will do 2 divided by 5. If you write it the the front slash, if you use a backslash, it is going to take inverse of 5. So it will be 2 by 5 actually, right? So 2 by 5 is actually 0.4, and 0.4 minus 1 is minus 0.6. Okay, so you can do back division or you can do forward division. It depends on what you want to accomplish. Okay.
यहाँ पे प्रोग्राम लिखने के बाद यहाँ एग्जीक्यूट करना रहेगा क्या सर साइलैब वाले में?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, जैसे मेरा स्क्रीन आ रहा है, मेरे स्क्रीन में देखो, मैंने यहाँ पे सिंपल एक प्रोग्राम लिखा हुआ है ABC, है ना, और मैं कैलकुलेशन कर रहा हूँ. सो सपोज आई चेंज दिस वैल्यू टू 200, है. तो अभी मैंने यहाँ पे
Yes, sir.
ए की वैल्यू चेंज कर दी है, अब मैं इसको एग्जीक्यूट कर रहा हूँ। यहाँ पे देखो ऊपर एग्जीक्यूट का ऑप्शन है, तो इफ आई एग्जीक्यूट दिस, नोटिस मेरा जो वेरिएबल ब्राउजर है इसमें वैल्यूज चेंज हो जाएंगी, ठीक है। तो अभी A20 आ रहा है, मैं इसको एग्जीक्यूट करूंगा। सो देखो यहाँ पे वैल्यू A की 200 हो गई है ना। एंड सिमिलरली नीचे मैसेज आ रहा है कि आई हैव एग्जीक्यूटेड द कोड, है ना। एंड सो नाउ इफ आई वांट टू फाइंड व्हाट वैल्यू ऑफ C इज, C की वैल्यू शुड बी बेसिकली 20, right? And there you go, you see C is 20. So whatever code or program you have written here, once you execute it, so those variables will be defined, that function will appear on the screen, and those things you can use for further calculations. Okay.
सर सेव अपने आप होता है कि या फिर आपको करना पड़ता है?
सेव अपने आप होता है, फर्स्ट टाइम में सेव करना पड़ता है। एवरी टाइम यू हिट दिस सेंटर बटन, तो उसका काम ही सेव एंड एग्जीक्यूट है, तो इट सेव्स एंड एग्जीक्यूट्स द फाइल। ओके
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।